Hey, John. How's it going?
Hey, Eric. It is going well tonight. Am I
Good.
freezing still?
Now you're just very blurry.
and I can hear very much crackly in the background. As one of my sons has
There's
clearly
stuff going on.
got a chip bag. It's all good. It's all good.
Well, it's because we're on a different night.
That's true. This is Tuesday night, and it is my fault. So thank you for accommodating.
For a good reason, though.
Yes. Did I complain on the podcast about trying to get Imagine Dragons Dragon tickets? I don't recall. I know I complained to you.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a lunch conversation or if it was.
Yeah, the short of it is that they advertised to me and they were like, "Hey, Imagine Dragons is coming to Portland. You should get tickets." And I said, "I would like tickets. Let me buy tickets." And they said, no, an invalid error. Oh, no. And I did it. I must have tried it like 5 or 6 times. And I tried it with different credit cards. I tried it on different devices. Always. Nope.
You really didn't want to go to the concert.
But it turned out, in my expert debugging opinion, that it was because I never tried without asking for parking pass. And I think they were sold out of the parking pass, and the app had no way of messaging that I had selected an invalid option or something like that. Because eventually...
Who runs out of parking?
Right? Well, I sure hope we're going to be able to park somewhere. But it's okay.
I just read the max.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's going to be a crazy... My kids have dentist appointments tomorrow, so my wife's going to go pick them up at school, take them to the dentist. There's not enough time between the dentist and the concert to really come home and do anything, so I'm going to drive in, park the car somewhere, meet them. Anyway, it's a thing, but whatever. It'll be nice.
It'll be a great concert, I'm sure.
I sure hope so.
look forward to hearing the results.
Yeah, I have not been to a concert.
And I anticipate seeing you Thursday with your new Imagine Dragons concert t-shirt.
Oh, I hadn't even really thought about that. Doesn't everybody want to spend $50 for a $6 t-shirt?
Yeah.
Whatever, okay. I have actually that reminds me, I have a Billy Joel t-shirt that I just saw the other day in my drawer. And it's the sort of thing that I bought my size and it's still too small. Whatever. They're not sized like normal t-shirts. They take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's their loss, though, because I would have bought much better tickets. I had much better tickets in my cart the first time I was ordering than I was the last time I was ordering. Because I had much better better seats that I would happily paid for. But then when it came time to, fine, I'll just try this again. I was literally like nosebleed seats. And I'm like, well, whatever, click, click, click. And then it worked. I was like, oh, well, there they go. I mean, it's okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, so
it'll be fun either way.
We're recording early. So how about this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a good weekend?
So my boy and I went out to Johnson Ridge Observatory, Mount St. Helens. He wanted to do some photography. And
cool.
I was kind of excited because I had found my old infrared lens filter. So we were going to go try out some infrared photography. And we get up to Johnson Ridge Observatory, and I see signs along the way saying closed, but I assume the physical building is closed, right? Because COVID and stuff. Because we had gone up in October last year, and he wanted to go in the spring. So
sure.
But we get up there, and the last 6 miles up to the road is closed. So it's
Like they had a gate.
closed. Yeah. And so we still got out, hiked around a little bit, and then right next to where the gate was closed is Coldwater Lake, which I frankly didn't know about. I didn't even think about it. But it was actually kind of cool. I mean, it has a boat launch, and it's got these bridges and platforms that go out onto the lake. And so you walk around. Okay. So we went out and set up the tripod and took some infrared photography out on the lake. And since it has to leave the shutter open for a number of seconds, it kind of gives that smooth feel to the lake and the sky. It actually turned out pretty good. It wasn't what we had hoped. Getting all the way to the top of Johnson Ridge Observatory, which turns out it was okay because it was a gorgeous day. Blue skies, except right around Mount St. Helens, a thicket of clouds that blocked the cool view. And because there are a number of, along the road, there are a number of pullouts and viewpoints that you can pull off and view various different things. So we pulled off and we never got a good picture of Mount St. Helens. We got a picture of Mount St. Helens hidden by some clouds with perfectly blue sky all around it, which was kind of annoying. So we have to go up again sometime.
That's pretty funny.
So that was the highlight of the weekend, kind of testing out his camera equipment with some an infrared lens, and just kind of letting him get out and practice his preferred art.
Is it an infrared lens or like an infrared filter or something?
Sorry, I kept saying lens. It's a filter. It's an infrared filter that you screw on the front of your lens.
Huh.
So I misspoke. And you can't see through it, right? If you hold it up to your eye, it looks black. You have to hold it up to the sun, and then you can see the red through it.
Interesting.
And then when you get the pictures home, you just turn them black and white, desaturate, and the greens look white. And I mean, it just slightly changes a lot of the colors. It's a cool effect. So,
So if I took a picture of one of my beehives with that, would it show where the hive was warmer or not?
I don't think so, because this is infrared light, not infrared. Filter. Well, maybe. I don't know. We could try.
Okay. Maybe someday I will ask you to. Huh.
It's just it's just a filter that goes on the lens. I've only thought of it as
what would a regular light. Like I've seen people take pictures with. They've got little handheld infrared cameras.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have no idea. I had not thought of that in terms of heat. I guess I had just not thought of it in terms of heat in that context. I've only thought of it as in terms of light. So I don't know. Okay. We should try it sometime. Now I'm curious.
Me too. I think my hive is dead, though. It might be dead. I don't know.
Your last one?
Hive singular. Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know. The next 60-degree day, if we get one, I will go into it and see. I walked by it today, and there was one lone dead bee on the front of the stoop. And if there was and I haven't walked by it for a week or so, and if there was a burgeoning colony inside there, they would have brought out more dead bees. So I'm thinking
Thursday does not look good for you.
Not good. What is Thursday?
It's supposed to be 23.
Oh, gracious.
Below freezing. So
I totally ruined my bees. Okay.
Sorry, dude.
I'm so disappointed in myself. Okay, but it is what it is. I cannot unmake the past. You're reminding me though. I have to order some nukes, some nucleus colonies for this spring. There's a delivery in April, and the orders have to be in the next 2 weeks, I think. So
there you go.
put it on my to-do list. Anyway.
All right.
That's depressing. Did I do anything fun this weekend? I think the main thing I did is it was lovely weather. It was lovely weather. And so at least Sunday, I spent a lot of time outside. I fixed the nesting box. I think I fixed the nesting box. I took it apart. I'm bad. I'm super bad. I didn't do any unit testing.
And this is your nesting box to help with egg collection.
Yeah, with the ramp. Right. So where I built
with
the ramp, but the ramp was a little too aggressive, and the eggs they be cracking. So I took the box back off and I took it apart and I moved the shim that I had put on the front to make it steeper because it looked like it needed to be steeper. And I put it to the back because I figured, oh, well, if I move it from the front to the back, that'll make it even shallower.
Right.
I forgot that my wife told me before I even began the project that would not work. Because she, being the smart woman that she is, knew that the opening in the back was just barely big enough for an egg. And if I put a shim in the back, the eggs would not go underneath and through the opening. So I put it all the way back together. This is what I mean by I didn't do any unit testing. I could have tested that before with an egg before I put everything back together. And but I did not. And so I had it out. I was ready to spray paint it and I was like, well, I should just verify that everything works and that it doesn't break. I was thinking more. I was making sure the see how fast the eggs would roll down. The egg did not go through, and that's when I remembered her saying, "Don't do that." So I took it back apart. I took the crowbar. I took that back off and put it all back together. And I did not actually tell her that I did that.
Of course not.
But it is what it is. So I put it all back together again, and that worked. That worked. And so far, knock on Formica here. It's this is Tuesday. So I guess we've only had 2 days of egg laying, but so far no broken eggs. So far so good.
Good.
Anyway,
Good.
and then I also just I puttered outside for a bit on various projects, and I actually mowed a little bit of grass, which is it's not quite mowing time, but it's getting there. And
yeah.
The fun project, up and coming fun project probably is going to be that I took some soil samples and sent them off for analysis a couple weeks ago for how much not fertilizer, but depending on what it is, the ag store here will tell you, you got to do this, that, and the other thing. And in particular, around here at least, they want us to put lime on the pastures because our soils are really acidic. And which is why blueberries do really good in the valley here. But they said that I need to put 2 tons per acre on the pastures, which, may I just say, I am not going to do. But
that's I have no context, but that sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot for me. It's a lot of 50-pound bags at least.
And what, 40 acres? Well, how many acres would you have to cover?
Well, 5, call it 8. I mean, I'm not going to do the others, but
I'm sure there's a place you'd call for a dump truck full of lime, right? You wouldn't have to do 50-pound bags.
But I don't have that kind of equipment. Like, there's a uncanny valley that I think I reside in where my needs of doing things that I want to do not match the equipment that it would take to do that, nor does making that equipment like make any sort of sense in the least bit, or buying that equipment or having it or renting it or anything. So I don't know. I figure we'll do a little bit, and then we'll maybe
more
again
blackberries
next year.
for you.
I know. So many blackberries. Oh. Anyway, fun stuff. This is all good.
All right.
It's all good. All right. How about some actual security part of the Mostly Security podcast?
We're going to have to change the name to Slightly Security. But
I'm
no,
sorry.
The thing I saw this week was, well, I saw two things, and one I won't bother linking to but it was a tabletop exercise of what could you do if you had a malicious YubiKey? I mean, what would be the purpose of like finding a USB drive on the ground, plugging it in, someone, it can launch and put malware on machine. What if you stumbled across a YubiKey that was somehow malicious? So it was an interesting thing, but the gist of it was, not really, can't do a whole lot. I mean, it's there. It would have to be
read that.
Cooperated with multiple different things. But yeah, I read the paragraph and thought it might be interesting, so I threw it in Slack, and then when I was reading it tonight, I'm like, that's not as interesting. I thought it might be. So, but
not everything is.
Food for thought. The one thing that caught my eye based on what's kind of going on globally now is Google's threat analysis group had an update of things that they are seeing on the threat landscape for Ukraine. And so they kind of called out three things. A fancy bear threat actor that's doing a bunch of credential phishing, targeting Ukrainian. Ukrnet is a Ukrainian media company. So phishing email sent. They created blogspot domains as the initial landing page. Google took down all those known things. There's another threat by Ghostwriter, which is a Belarusian threat actor, was conducting credential phishing campaigns against the Polish and the Ukrainian government. And then the fun name, Mustang Panda, as a China-based threat actor, was targeting European entities with lures related to the Ukrainian invasion, basically, files like situation at the EU borders with Ukraine.zip, which contain an executable that loaded stuff. But the interesting thing that I was reminded of that Google offers is a project called Project Shield, which helps protect companies against DDoS attacks. And so they note in this article that they continue to see DDoS, denial of service attempts, against many Ukrainian sites, including the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Internal Affairs, and services that are designed to help people find information. And so they have expanded their eligibility for Project Shield, their free protection against DDoS attacks, so that Ukrainian government websites, embassies worldwide, and other governments in close proximity to the conflict can stay online, protect themselves, and continue to offer their crucial services and ensure access to the information people need. So I clicked the link through to Project Shield. I want to say we talked in the last 5 years that we've been doing this. We've talked about Project Shield in the past. So
yeah,
another nice thing. So that was just kind of what caught my eyes. Just like any widely trafficked event online, whether it's what's going on in Ukraine or something big on social media, people
Olympics.
would take advantage of it. Yeah, Olympics, whatever it is. So there you go. That's what I saw this week that was interesting.
I wonder, there was news today about Google buying Mandiant. I wonder if they're going to be expanding tag. Are they gonna? What are they gonna do with that? That'll be interesting.
Yeah, and I guess that's all we need to say about that.
And that's all I'm gonna say about that. All right. Okay. I have 2 links that I'm going to put in here, but they're really kind of about the same story, which is the NVidia breach. So
I missed this one. I didn't see this one.
Yeah. Well, so this was last week. Yeah, I think the 3rd was when this happened. So it's it's been 5 days or so. But so the first article I'm going to link in here is to an Ars Technica article, and the funny thing about this is the demand that the cyber criminals made, because they asked that NVidia release the hounds. No, that they allow the graphics cards to mine cryptocurrencies faster or face imminent release of the source code.
Okay.
So, so I'm clearly no longer focused on like the latest and greatest video cards. So I did not even realize that NVIDIA a couple of years ago, no, I guess it was last year. It says in February 2021, with the launch of its GeForce RTX 3060, they released a feature called Light Hash Rate, which, let's see, it makes the cards less desirable to people mining Ethereum and possibly other types of cryptocurrencies. Because in recent years, the soaring prices of cryptocurrencies have created enormous demand for the cards, because the cards are generally much faster and more efficient in performing intensive computations required during the mining process. So basically, and I didn't pull out this quote, but there was something in the article that it said that, they detect whether or not you're trying to mine, and if so, they basically impose a speed limit of 50%. So if you're trying to, NVIDIA's I guess motivation is to not have their cards all be sucked up and used by crypto miners, and they want to service the gaming market. And so I didn't even realize that was added.
It's like the inverse of what some hardware companies get caught doing, and modifying their hardware
right.
That when it sees that it's being run by a benchmark, it increases, perform, it flips the bits
turbo
to make
mode.
Yeah.
they Volkswagen the tests. I think that's that's the new verb.
There's your title. That's a good one.
The what does it say? So the group's name is Lapsus Lapsus. Maybe you're not supposed to say $. You're supposed to think that's an S.
Lapsus money.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, pronounce it however
Lapsus
you want.
coin. It's cryptocurrency. Lapsus coin. There you go.
It's about cryptocurrencies. All right. What else was I going to say about this? So let's see. It says on Tuesday, I guess that's today, Lapsus modified its demand. Now the group also wants NVIDIA to commit to making its GPU drivers completely open source. If NVIDIA does not comply, Lapsus says the company can expect to see a new leak that would include the complete silicon, graphics, and computer chipset files for all recent GPUs. So that was interesting as far as the demand goes. You must stop handicapping your chips. So,
Right.
I thought that was funny. But also related, the second article is a bleeping computer article about malware now using NVidia's stolen code signing certificates. So, evidently,
Ouch.
in part of the data dump, there were two there were two code signing certificates. Now, it says they're expired, so fundamentally, this shouldn't, like, if your certificates are protected with a HSM, a hardware security module, where, the right way to protect private keys is to not allow anybody to actually have access to the private keys.
Right.
And, I understand that the right way and the, let's say, especially historically, in fact, I'm sure that only a fraction of the, private keys in existence are actually stored in HSMs. But, yeah, that's losing the crown jewels. That's losing the crown jewels. So, because the problem, and this kind of cuts to the end. I have a habit of doing this. The problem with revoking these certs is, who knows what other code that or drivers that are signed and running in legit software is still running, code that's signed with these certs. And if they're revoked, that will invalidate all that code as well. And for legacy software, or for legacy drivers for legacy hardware in particular, if somebody's running an old version of something, they're not going to get a new one. Likely, they're just going to one day go, "Hey, why does this not work?" So,
right.
Anyway, let me look back for some of the notes I pulled out. So, it says threat actors are using stolen NVIDIA code signing certificates to sign malware to appear trustworthy and allow malicious drivers to be loaded in Windows. After Lapsus leaked NVIDIA's code signing certificates, security researchers quickly found certificates being used to sign malware and other tools. The other tools is one of the other things too. One of the ways that, well, certainly red teams, but other, the first thing that bad actor would drop on a system, if they can drop something that's a beacon or a quote unquote legit security tool, but that has functionality that's useful, and they can have that signed by something that can really help them evade detection and operate quote unquote legitimately.
Right, because most things trust a set of known certificates or whatnot.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why you'll hear things like live off the land, use of legitimate applications to achieve the goal. So let's see. According to samples uploaded to the Virus Total malware scanning service, stolen certificates were used to sign various malware and hacking tools, such as Cobalt Strike beacons, Mimikatz, backdoors, and remote access Trojans. For example, one threat actor used a certificate to sign a Quasar rat, while someone else used the certificate to sign a Windows driver. Now, there was a comment in here, I didn't pull it out, that, this can potentially be, at least for some of the tool stuff, this could be, security teams playing around, essentially, and then, using Virus Total to test and see what happens, for the various, security scanners. Anyway, there was a comment in here from a Microsoft person that said that you can configure Windows application control policies to disallow loading these drivers or to control what drivers can be loaded.
Right.
But in general, that's not something that your average Windows user, certainly consumer, I'll say quote unquote normal consumer, would do. It's more likely something that can be, done by in a corporate setting and then pushed. But then the article kind of ended with it would be nice if Microsoft just revoked it, but that would have these other ramifications, which, it is what it is. And, it as more and more things auto update and,
right.
There's fewer, I think at least it's going to be interesting as more and more computers become more like the phones where they really are not expandable. It's such a small market these days, I think, of people that really want the things that gamers do, or, back in the day when you build your own laptop or build your own computer, etc. Heck, I got my legs up on a Hackintosh right at the moment that hasn't booted in 2 years. It makes for a good footrest. Anyway, let's see. Anything else to say about that? I think that's all I got to say about that. There you go.
All right.
I'll say that again.
Well,
how about something fun this week?
I'm going to segue from your intro on your acidic soil, good for blackberries, blueberries, to my something fun. So those same antioxidants that give blueberries and blackberries the color, it's anthocyanin content, is now being used to genetically engineer a tomato. So you now have purple tomatoes.
Okay. Tomatoes are not supposed to be purple.
Yeah, 15 years ago, in the middle of winter, Kathy Martin was waiting patiently for her tomatoes to ripen. And she knew that their green skin was about to turn a miraculous purple because of the genes she had tweaked. And so, unlike, I think we've talked about apples in the past, about how they've been genetically engineered apples, and I love the Honeycrisp, and there's these new apples that are going to be the big thing. She is now trying to get the U.S. Department of Agriculture to approve the sale of purple tomatoes. But she's not going to patent them, I suppose. She's going to sell the seeds, and she's going to try to get, assuming the Department of Agriculture approves the sale of GMO tomatoes, she's going to let people crossbreed, do whatever, and go nuts with purple tomatoes. I am currently a fan of tomatoes. I have been adding more tomato to my diet, and I think it would be fun to have purple tomatoes. One side note in the article that I pulled out, because I was not aware of this, but GMOs are very common in your diet. Apparently, 94% of soybeans, 94% of cotton, 92% of corn, 95% of canola, all planted in the U.S., are GMO strains.
Yeah. I didn't know those stats.
And it's all been tweaked and improved to improve yield and resist disease. This is something slightly different that she's doing, and she's doing it purely for aesthetics, for color, and the additional antioxidants. So, and the genes that she swapped were sourced from snapdragon and thale cress. I don't know what either of those are in terms of plants, but she's hoping that these tomatoes will be approved by the end of March or maybe by April. And she's already moved on to other things. She's like, tomatoes don't need to be the only thing that you can boost this anthocyanin content. Apparently in 2013, some researchers did that to an apple. And so it kind of looked like a red flesh plum apple. But she believes you can do the same thing with bananas, oranges, and countless other fruits. So maybe we will see superfruit bananas, purple bananas or purple oranges. Which wouldn't that be a kick to have a purple orange?
Orange is both a name and a color, though. Would it still be an orange, or would it be a purple?
I'm going to go with the purple orange. I like it. Anyways, that's my something fun this week. Purple tomatoes are coming your way, probably.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've read stuff about Monsanto and, a lot of the lawsuits that they've made for people that are, quote, growing. Because the other thing that they do is by patenting their seeds, you can't, and sometimes it won't breed true, obviously, but if it crossbreeds, there was a lawsuit a couple of years ago about, a farmer who's like, I didn't buy their seed.
Yeah.
It once you plant a field, if it pollinates, some of those genes will be expressed. That's not a violation. That's like, nature. I don't actually know what the result of that lawsuit was, though. Anyway. Okay. My something fun. I actually brought 2-ish things. So the first thing is, I think I mentioned last week that I was doing a bunch of reading. But I don't think I said what it was. But these are I think I might have said they were young adult novels, and maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know. They were very fast reads, and it was a series called Cradle by author Will Wight. And so after I got done backing the Brandon Sanderson project on Kickstarter this week, it was just yesterday, might have been Sunday night, just recently, Kickstarter was like, you might also like, and showed me a Will Wight Kickstarter. And I was like, wait a second, I just read those books, and I very much enjoyed them. They were very fun. And so Will Wight has a little video, sorry, I'm laughing about this already, but you should watch it. But he's basically like, so you should know, I've been working on a Kickstarter for a long time. Unbeknownst to me, Brandon Sanderson was also working on a Kickstarter, and basically his is much better. So, he has a really funny kind of take on it. And he's like, at the end of it, he's basically like, so if you're going to support a novel on Kickstarter tonight, you should support Brandon Sanderson. You're going to do it anyway. But if you're going to support 2 Kickstarters, consider me. So, anyway, I thought that was hilarious. I had just finished, and I don't think you can put together something that quite so fast. So the fact that he kind of did a fast follow on Brandon Sanderson, which by the way is now the most backed Kickstarter ever, I think. I think it was past $25 million. But anyway, so these novels by Will Wight are there. I'll put the link to the Kickstarter in there for physical copies. But if you're a Kindle Unlimited, I think is what it is, where you can just read anything, they're on that, or you can buy them. And he actually says on there, why aren't you doing digital copies? And he's like, because I have an agreement with with Kindle or with Amazon that I can't sell digital copies elsewhere, and same for audio. I can't legally do that, but I can do a print run and sell physical books. So anyway, so that's what he's doing, and nice. I thought that was cool. So my second something fun, I just saw this before we came downstairs and started recording, and it was tweeted by let's see, it was tweeted by Ann Johnson a few minutes ago, or a huge invasive spider from East Asia that swarmed Georgia could soon take over most of the U.S. East Coast. Millions of palm-sized flying spiders.
This does not encourage me to want to fly to the East Coast.
Right? We had murder hornets. Now we've got palm-sized flying spiders. So, yeah, there were lots of the comments on Twitter. They're like, can you please bring back the murder hornets, please?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Georgia. I will not be visiting you soon.
Right. So, well, especially, I have a sentence in here that you'll love in a moment. But evidently, this is an invasive species, and they think it was brought to Georgia in a shipping container or something, but it is the Joro spider from says East Asia, and let's see, it says that new research shows that the Joro spider, which swarmed North Georgia by the millions last September, has a special resilience to the cold. This has led scientists to suggest that the 3-inch, I'm holding up my fingers. 3 inches is not small for a spider.
No, that's a good sized spider.
I guess a question, is that the body of the spider or they say palm sized.
I'm sure that's with the legs.
You think that's with the legs? All right.
Well, you think that's 3 inches is just the body and the palm size is because the legs are spindly?
I have no data. I have 3 inches as a measurement, and I have palm sized as a description. I bet you Google Photos might have that. Anyway, so it says this has led scientists to suggest that the 3-inch bright yellow striped spiders, whose hatchlings disperse by fashioning web parachutes to fly as far as 100 miles, hello Charlotte's Web, could soon dominate the eastern seaboard. The spider hitchhiked its way to the northeast of Atlanta, Georgia, inside a shipping container in 2014. Since it hitchhiked, its numbers and range have expanded steadily across Georgia, culminating in an astonishing population boom last year that saw millions of the arachnids drape porches, power lines, mailboxes, and vegetable patches across more than 25 state counties with webs as thick as 10 feet deep. You want some 10 feet deep webs? I think Indiana Jones has something to say about that.
No. I found a picture of a palm and a spider because I typed in Google palm-sized and it completed flying spider for me.
Oh,
as the Google autocomplete.
And live follow-up.
I just posted in the Slack a picture of a palm behind a spider.
Oh,
I have no interest in going to Georgia or anywhere on the East Coast now.
Oh, that is a pretty spider. That's 2 spiders. Wow.
No, that's a spider who has captured a caterpillar.
1, 2,
the greenish thing on the front.
There are too many legs. No, that greenish thing's got to be another spider. There are too many legs. Count the legs.
The picture caption says, "This Joro spider has captured a caterpillar in its web." 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, there's. Well, whatever. It's still
that's a doggone big spider.
That's awesome for podcast material.
Well, I'll put it as the chapter art for this.
Let me put the full link to the URL.
So, anyway, what else to say about this? So sorry. On the Twitter thread, there was somebody saying like, all right, we need to bring in something else to eat the spiders. And there was a person who chimed in from Australia that's saying like, as someone from Australia who has a habit of like bringing in one sort of critter to take care of another, can I just say that's always a bad idea? So let's see what else.
Well, I did read that it says that, where was it? It was their they have no natural predators and they're mostly nuisances. Their bite can't actually break the skin, and it's not poisonous to humans or dogs or cats or other animals unless you're allergic to whatever it has. So
yeah,
that still doesn't help.
Yeah. No, that was basically how I was. It says that researchers say Joro is much more likely to be a nuisance than a danger, and it should be left to its own devices.
Right.
But I guess if they can take some of those up to Washington, the north part of Washington, and have the flying spiders versus the murder hornets. Excuse me. I'm the one that should be saying the giant Asian hornets.
Right.
But anyway, that's just, we live in a connected world, and so much stuff gets sent between continents. At the end of the day, the climate in Japan is very similar to much of the United States.
There be Klingons, Captain.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway. All right, that's my something fun. One super fun thing and one, I don't know how fun the spiders are. Kind of depends on your arachnophobia.
I suffer from a slight form of arachnophobia. When I was a kid, growing up in Northern California, we would find black widows out in the woodpile, and it was always got to go bring in the wood for the fire for the stove, and all the flashlights in the world out to the woodshed
in the dark.
With the spiders. Still something run across your arm. You're like jumping and flipping. You're paranoid because all you need to do is have a black widow run across your arm once, and you've freak out.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a way to end the podcast right there.
There you go. Funny.
Black widows, and not the good kind, like movies.
Not Marvel.
Not Marvel.
All right, Eric. Have a good night. I will talk to you later.
Yep. We'll see you, John. Bye.
Bye.